Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? And welcome to Take 10. It is our sixth Take 10, which is super exciting. And the idea of these art playdates are to just remind you that it is okay to just play with your supplies, have fun, get in touch with your creativity in any way without worrying about the product, without the final product being the end goal, with playing just being the end goal. And each week I pick a word, an art word, or some word of inspiration and kind of use that as my basis for how I am going to play. And this week I'm super excited because the word is texture, and that is one of my favorite things to play with, especially in art journaling. So we are going to jump right in. Remember, the idea is to go ahead and limit yourself so that you can just let go for a certain amount of time. If you're like me and you get to art journaling, you could probably go and go and go. Or there are times where it feels just like a struggle, but 10 minutes is a good amount of time to get your juices flowing and then to just take a moment and walk away. And maybe you're super inspired and want to come back later in the day, or maybe 10 minutes was all you had that day, but you took 10 minutes for yourself. You made it a priority, which is awesome. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Alicia. It's so good to see all of you guys, or to at least get to see your comments. Keep commenting throughout. We are going to get started. I'm going to set my Echo Dot alarm, so beware, yours might get set also. But Alexa, please set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
All right, and we're going to get going. Okay, texture paste is what I'm going to start playing with. I've divided up my page into 6 parts, and I'm going to start playing with some texture paste. And you can use this in several different ways. And I'm going to start right here. This is just a little stencil from Tim Holtz. And I'm going to just use my finger. I know I could probably use a lot of different things. I find it easiest to spread with my finger. And I'm going to spread it on before adding any color on my page. So just using my finger to smush it through. It is a lot of fun to play with. This works really well if you are an art journaler, or if you are a Bible journaler and interested in adding some texture on your pages without adding a lot of bulk. Texture paste is great for that. So I'm adding it in with my finger. That way I get a really thin coating, but actually I kind of want more. So you can use a tool. You see I have my card right here. I can kind of scrape it through like that to get a cleaner look as it comes through. Actually, I'm going to try that again. I'm trying to hold down my stencil right there. Once you get a little texture paste through, the stencil kind of holds itself. Ooh, good afternoon from the Netherlands. That's awesome. It's not so early for you. It's early for a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends, some of my Texas friends are like, we can't do it. We cannot get up that early for you. So see, that is some fun texture to play with. Texture paste dries pretty fast on your thing, so I make sure to always wipe it off of stencils and things like that so that I don't ruin that stencil. But I'm going to come back to this. So that was just texture paste, nothing else on it. Good afternoon from South Africa. Look, I love all of these. Okay, so that's the start. That is just texture paste. I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and I'm going to come back to it. But first, I'm going to come to this square because we're going to do something a little bit differently. I've got my brush, my cheapo blush brush. This is just from like the dollar store or discount store, and I'm adding some purple over the top right here. And the idea is I'm going to do some tone on tone texture over on this little square. I'm going to let my other one dry while I'm working on this one. Good morning from San Antonio. Good morning, Margie and Amanda and Bethany, everybody joining in. Okay, got that done. I'm going to grab my heat tool right here. Like I said, texture paste does dry pretty fast, but because I'm wanting to color over this, I might just have to let it dry a little bit more. I love playing with texture. I am not going to lie, when I started art journaling, I didn't even know that that was a thing, that like putting texture on pages was a thing people did, but it is a lot of fun. Okay, This is the same color that I put right here. Now I'm going to take my little tool here, get out some texture paste, and I just smushed that Distress Oxide down on my glass mat, and now I'm mixing it. So this time I'm coloring the texture paste, which is another way you can use it. I saw that, I think it's Vicky Booten, when I was watching the Creativation videos, has a pre-colored texture paste coming out that kind of matches all her colors that she uses in her mixed media all the time. So that is kind of something to look forward to. But I like being able to custom color it here. And I have a different stencil. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. And this is just tone on tone. And this is a really fun way to create backgrounds, on your pages. And I like the tone on tone, especially because it ends up being nice and subtle, but still creating an interest. You know, it doesn't have to be the focal point on your page. And in fact, texture most often is not. It's just adding some depth, some dimension, some interest to your page or to your project. And I mean, you can use it in all kinds of ways. I know card makers love using it. Anything that's tactile, I am all about in my art. You know what, Bethany? It works on any paper. I would use something thicker, most likely in my journaling. And this, like I have said before, this is just mixed media paper, but it'll work because it doesn't soak in. It's going to sit right on top of your paper, so it's going to work with anything you got. But see how fun that is? And really it's subtle from afar. And once that dries, you can put things over the top of it. You can do, you know, anything you want, but it just creates a more interesting look. And if I were to do that same thing with the tone on tone using just ink, you'd get a feel for it, but look at how fun that texture is. I think it's just a lot of fun. Okay. Now this side is mostly dry, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to do some watercoloring over the top. So I did not prep this page. Good morning. Good morning. I didn't prep this page. So it's just mixed media paper. I put the texture paste on. Let me grab my brush here, and I'm going to stick, I'm going to go with purple. We'll go with purple. I love purple. It's what I do. And I'm just going to see. Yeah, look at how that really comes out, how that brings out like a different, because it wasn't pre-done. I don't want to go pink. Let's go blues. Purples and blues. Sometimes purple and pink, they don't play well together, just depending on the purple. Have you guys found that? Like, purple is kind of a weird, I love purple. It's my favorite. But when you craft with it, it doesn't always play nicely with colors you think it should play nicely with. Yeah, see how you get that cool, that I'm loving this. Let's get a different blue. Oh, is that blue? Yeah, that's blue. Didn't have all the purple out of there. So see how that really brings out, and it brings it out in a different way than when I colored the paste ahead of time, because it's not soaking in the color quite as much as the rest of the page is. So it makes a very cool effect. Yeah, it is almost like it resists just a little bit. It's just not soaking it in quite as much as the rest of the paper is, and it's like pulling underneath or in between these little cracks. And it looks, this is interesting to me because this was meant to be like a stone, but it looks kind of like scales when I did it in that color. Can you imagine like little dragon scales or something? I think that would be so fun. Okay, so that's a couple texture things. Let's do this. Now, recognize these. This is washi tape if you haven't seen it before. And I know if you're like me, you have a ton of washi tape in your stash. And I'm talking like tons and tons and tons and tons. And I have so much that I barely use it. I barely have time. I can't use it all. There's just, and you get so much in a roll, and they're fun to collect, but I tend to forget to use them. So this is a technique that I saw Let's see, if you follow Messy Bible over on Instagram, I saw her do this years ago now, I feel like. And what she did was she actually took a bunch of washi tape that she did not really like that much. So it's not that I don't like this particular washi tape, I just have a lot. And she just put it down on her page, just all kinds of washi tape like this, different widths, different sizes, different lengths. And she put it on her page and then painted over the top of it, which I thought was super interesting, made for very cool texture moments on the page, kind of created a neat background. And there. Is it working? Can you guys see it? Okay, so I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna grab, let's see, not that tape. I'm gonna take a nice dark one right here. Add this in. Sorry, I'm grabbing a brush. Grab a brush. Okay, and then, seriously, you just paint over the top. And you can see, I'll show y'all in a minute, some of the design on the washi tape is still coming through, but not all of it. And it is creating a neat texture to start a page. Like I said, texture, a lot of times you want to think background. How can I make the background of my page a little bit more interesting? If you can see. So see, then you're left with a cool background like that. Alexa, stop. Oh man, I didn't even get close to all my stuff. All right, let me show you one other texture thing that I have been playing with before we go. Oh, Sherry. Sherry says she lost us there. I guess it's not working. Okay, string is a lot of fun. Putting string into your pages in the background and then painting over the top of it is super fun to play with. So just get any color string, whatever you like. I like to do it in little loops. Oh, actually, I did that one too tight. Little loops kind of around like that. Come in with your matte gel medium. I have mine right here. That maybe was a little much. Okay, so spreading it around. You can also put the matte gel, if you want to be more particular, put the matte gel down first and then kind of place your string more gently if you're trying to be more, you know me, I kind of just slap stuff around, gets a little out of control. Okay, if you secure it down with matte gel medium, then you will be able to go over, I know, they go so fast. Maybe I should change the name instead of take 10 to take however much time you feel like that day. So I want to dry this because I really want to show you guys how cool this is. And it's something that I have been, oh yeah, see, that's a good idea. So Debbie said, if you do your, you could take some of this and like wipe it off. Maybe I let mine dry too long. But you can wipe some off in particular places on your washi tape and start to get some pieces that come up. Actually, some of the sparkle came up, which is pretty cool. All right, I may have put take 10 plus. That's a good one, Vicky. Take 10-ish. Maybe I should just call it take 10-ish minutes. This one is fun. Texture, like I said, is one of my favorites. I've been experimenting. I have an art journal video that comes out next week. It was all about layers, and it was so fun. And texture is just one of those things that has my heart about art journaling. Okay, so with this one, I'm all purple and blue today. So I have my string. I can come in with my Distress Oxide and bring out some cool shadows right there. I can kind of layer, oh, that was the, layer some different colors of the Distress Oxide, bringing that down. And it's neat. The string is neat to kind of tuck behind. If you are Bible journaling, tucking behind pieces. If you're art journaling, maybe doing a whole background with like a crazy string design would be fun. I'm going to bring in some blue around the edges of this one. You guys can see I'm kind of hard on my supplies. it just creates an interesting look to me. I like it. I like it so much. It's a lot of fun. A couple of other things I was going to show you. You can use, this is dimensional acrylic paint. This is from Art Anthology. And pushing it through stencils or using it to create texture on your page, you let it dry and then it stays in that texture. It holds its dimension. So dimensional acrylic paint is something you can experiment with. And then everyone's favorite, with all that noise, sorry about that, is tissue paper. Crumpling some up, using matte gel medium, sticking it to your page, giving yourself just a different texture to work on, and seeing how your supplies, your paints, your sprays kind of react differently with whatever they're put on, like we saw here. It's fun to experiment and to see and to get ideas of different kinds of looks. And then what you can do on a page like this, go back and write what you like. Like, I like the subtlety. I like the interesting mix. All right. And you might like say, I really liked the idea of wiping away that Debbie had. So I might say, don't forget to wipe away paint. I might write a little note on here. So when I am flipping through my play journal, I can remember things that I liked. Vicky, thank you so much for joining and for saying that. Thank you so much for all of you for making the time to join me on here. I know it's not easy. I know the timing is different all around the world, and I really appreciate you. Appreciate you all and your support of my channel. I don't know if you saw, it was super exciting, but I hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which blew my mind this weekend. I cannot believe that happened. It's amazing, and it's because people like you just keep showing up and you comment and you like, and it means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate it. So I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day. I hope you get to go find time to create, play with some texture. Let me know how it works out, and I will see you all next week. Have a great day and keep it creative.